convention.
We'll work it out. So, hit me.
All right.
Sure. In 8 years, it is going to be the 100th anniversary of the French Actors Union saying "Thou shalt not dub." It is offensive to the original actors.
Yes. I know about this, yes.
Yes, and it's exploding. The anime industry is exploding now.
It's tough. Tough for the French, man.
It is tough for the
Tough
French.
break.
And yet, one of the things I've learned from talking to a lot of other voice actors, when they talk to people who want to get into voice acting, they say, don't focus on the voice part of it. Focus on the acting part of it. And what advice would you give for the young actors and actresses who want to break into the industry?
That very same advice, that you need to be an actor first and a voice actor second. So a lot of people are coming up to me at this convention actually and saying, oh, I have a really nice voice, I want to get into voice acting. And I'm like, you can have the ugliest voice in the world. The beauty's in the eye of the beholder with voice acting, and everyone is represented in voice acting and animation across the entire field of voice acting. So acting first, you are competing against people who have been on Broadway, have been on television. This is like, I'm not going to say it can't happen. I know one person right now who is a prominent voice actor who has barely studied acting. That's one person. So never say never, but also you want to up your chances of getting a job. That, and also iwanttobeavoiceactor.com is an amazing resource. It's D. Bradley Baker's website, and that has so much information on. Anytime somebody asks me at a convention, I'm like, I don't even want to waste time. Just go to his website. You'll learn everything you need to know to get started. Thank you.
How did you find out that you had fans in the State Department? I'm so curious. You're reading your bio, and I'm like, did they just call on the phone? Or from the government, be like your stuff?
I have fans, so they're not fan. I probably have Pokemon fans in the State Department. And if you publish this and you work for the State Department, let me know. That's kind of cool.
No, I'm not that cool.
Okay. You never know who's watching.
Right.
I have fans of my editing work in the State Department. I was editing for MSNBC, short documentaries, and we received word that my work was appreciated. My work on ISIS was appreciated. A bit of a departure from my work on Pokemon.
Right.
You have to diversify sometimes, you know, and that was my interest for some time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is a question from our co-host who couldn't be here. He lives in North Carolina,
Yeah.
so his work schedule would not allow him to travel up, but he is a diehard Pokemon fan.
Awesome.
He is our native Pokemon expert on the show.
Cool. Hi.
And his first question was, what is your favorite series that you voiced in your Pokemon career?
XY and XYZ. That whole generation had Ash really, really dramatic, and all his friends were my favorite friends, and yeah, so I think that was the best one.
So, I read that when you initially auditioned, you did not think it went well. You were very unhappy. But you also said that they took some time to teach you certain things on that audition. What did they teach you?
They taught me how to dub. I'd never heard of dubbing before. I never knew there was a thing. I went to acting school. They don't teach you dubbing. And now a little bit maybe they'll talk about it, but they don't teach you in acting school back in the day. So I went in there not realizing that I'd be watching the picture and reading the script at the same time. I'd never done that before. I had never done animation before. I'd barely done any voice acting before. I literally did like one medical narration, which it is not, it's not scene work. So the whole thing was this big old surprise to me, and it's a miracle that I got that job. Yeah, someone up there likes me now.
Of the live shows that you've done, Guys and Dolls being one, and then Midsummer Night's Dream being another,
Yes.
How surreal was it to play the character Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream, to have that comic relief, and also all of the trippy dreams and everything, bringing that to life on stage in front of a live crowd?
How long ago was this now? It must have been 20 years ago that I played Bottom on stage as a wee child. I remember being sad that I wasn't Hermia, as I wanted to be. I wanted to be the star, but in my own little way, I was the star because I played Bottom, and that is a funny role. And I think I carried that sensibility with me throughout my career. But then I started playing lead roles at first. But weird, you know, no, not mostly boys, that's not true. No, that's not true. No, I was gonna lie. It's not, it's a total lie. Now I play like lead girls and I play Hermes all the time actually. So yeah, now I got my wish. And then I play bottoms too. That came out weird. I kind of play, I'm very fortunate. We're having realizations right here on this stage. I've had a cool career. I like it. It's not what I thought I'd be doing, but it's much more diverse than what I thought I'd be doing. Because in voice acting, you don't have to look like anything. You can look like yourself and still play a million different types of roles, and it doesn't matter what you look like. So I've been very blessed. Yeah, it's not what I wanted, but I was blessed with something I thought I didn't want. Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Tell me.
On that kind of a note,
Yeah.
knowing that for voice acting, you've done mostly Pokemon.
Yeah.
Do you have any intentions of doing other anime voice acting going forward?
Yeah. So in New York, there was really no anime. Pokemon was like the only game in town. And then Pokemon became bi-coastal, I became bi-coastal, and then I moved to LA like a year ago. And now I'm doing these conventions, so I'm meeting all these other actors who do all this anime, and I'm like starting to understand the world a little bit, the business of it. And I'm starting to watch it. I never really watched it, sorry to say. I watched Succession, you know, I'm watching the live action stuff. So I'm starting to watch anime and starting to figure out what I really like and what I want to be in. So I'm targeting my desires. I'm like talking to directors like, yeah, that's the one, that's interesting to me. Like, I don't want to do something that I don't like every week. I can't imagine being on a show that I don't like. Even if it's like the biggest show in the universe, if I have to do something every week that I don't like, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. It doesn't matter, you know, how big it is. I want to love what I do. It's very important to me. Yeah. You're making noise. Shut up.
So one of the harder parts of the job is matching the mouth flaps.
Yeah.
Have you ever had situations where the mouth flaps are just not where they need to be for you?
All the time. Oh my God, all the time. And we rewrite. We sit there and we try to rewrite it a little bit. Our adapter on Pokemon, James Carter Cathcart, is brilliant. So we very, very rarely have to do it on Pokemon. But when we do, it's fun, it's collaborative. You know, I'm sitting there with Lisa, the director, and, trying to finagle. It's like a puzzle. It's like a little puzzle. And you gotta make it make sense and it be funny and be interesting, or, it has to be good. So we take a little time with that. It's fun. Yeah. But yeah, that's the hardest part of dubbing is matching the flap. The acting is not the hardest part for me, but everybody will have a different answer for that.
So currently the top cited review for on Apple Podcasts for If I Disagree with the Witches that it is a quote from, I believe it's Variety, even their dyslexia strikes again.
That's all right.
But the top cited quote is from a magazine citing that it's the perfect entry for beginner witches. But it's also a crime drama, and knowing the plot, what are your thoughts on that, and are you a practitioner in any way yourself? Do you have friends that are practitioners?
I was really into witchcraft for about a year and a half, around 7th and 8th grade, with this girl, Stacy. She got me into it, and there was a little shop in Forest Hills where I grew up, and we would frequent this shop and buy all the things and have little seances, and I was a witch when I was 11 years old. So full circle,
Yeah.
Very happy that I came to this project. I think it's my favorite role that I've ever played, actually. And it won the audience award at the Webbies, which I'm nominated for myself now. And I'm screaming out there, vote for me, because I want to beat Stephen Colbert, because he's my mom's favorite late night talk show host. And I think it'd just be fun to be like, I beat him.
Certainly a cool podcast, and you have our vote.
Thank you so much. No, the podcast is over. That already won. Now I'm nominated. You know the video I made when they announced Ash Ketchum's departure from the show? I made a video talking about my, it's like a minute and a half long, talking about my entire journey through my time being Ash Ketchum, the voice of Ash Ketchum. And I don't know, I liked that video. a lot.
Well,
So I
we're gonna vote
submitted
you on
it. I was like, it'd be interesting to see if the Webbies would nominate this. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
nuts. My fellow nominees are Stephen Colbert, Lupita Nyong'o, Jennifer Garner, and the Muppets. The Muppets are in supreme lead right now, and I'm in 5th place. But we both me and Stephen Colbert, as of today, have 18%. So this is a good thing. I
Certainly
might.
an impressive roster of names to be on the nomination.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
believe I'm among them, but now I'm like,
Super cool.
because I'm among them, I'm like, I gotta win. How cool would that be?
I beat
Like,
the
who is
Muppets.
she? And for this video, like, I want to win for this video because this is not something that's ever gonna happen again, like a character that's been around for 25 years that I played for 17 years. I'm not making a video like that ever again. And also, he won the world championship this year. I gotta win something more than a toy out of a claw machine, you know?
Right.
So, let's go.
And
Next.
the last question that our co-host that couldn't be here had asked said, what is your biggest takeaway or most notable event in your career as the voice behind Ash?
My most notable event. Oh my goodness. There was an episode of Pokemon in which a Pokemon passed away, and that inspired me and Lisa Ortiz to start an organization that supports animal fostering called Voices for Fosters. So that was probably the most impactful thing. But now, that still has an impact. This is the most impactful thing is being able to do these conventions and raise money for that by selling Pokemon autographs on Pokemon cards. It's a combination of being able to give back to the community that I love, and also, meeting the community that I serve in a way. As the voice of Ash Ketchum, it's been really cool to meet everybody and hear their stories and hear how my work and our show has affected their lives positively.
That's awesome.
Thanks. I like it.
Through this long, strange trip of playing Ash Ketchum and Star Raptor, of course, and
Yeah.
a few other characters, how has your, I guess, I'm going to use this word, relationship with Pokemon changed and evolved?
So I was a fan when I first started doing the show. Oh, no, I was a fan, sorry. It's been a long day. I was a fan when I was a child. I was like 10 years old when it came out. So I went from being a fan to being in high school and being very, very busy and not watching anything, to magically getting this audition from my agent and booking this role. And in the beginning, I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, this is the biggest thing in the world. I was thinking, I have an acting job. I have an acting job. This is amazing. So I was very focused on serving the production, like being exactly what they wanted me to be. And after a while, it was clear that they were happy with what I was doing, and I guess the character evolved with me over time. If you listen to Battle Frontier and you listen to Journeys, this is quite a bit of growth. So, from what people tell me, I mean, I hear it too. So, my relationship with them has just grown closer. I mean, there's been more trust built, and now I'm talking to you guys and I'm doing these conventions. So, being more forward-facing, more public-facing has been a really fun challenge, and I hope I'm making them proud. Can only hope.
As an actor who has a lot of improv experience,
Mhm.
do you recommend that as an entry-level practice for individuals looking to break into acting? That's kind of a common moniker that a lot of folks in the industry will say,
Yeah.
that you have to do improv first.
It's really useful to know when to pepper little things in. And develop a character. You're developing a life. You're not just reading a script, you're developing a life. So being able to improvise is important in your creativity.
Have you ever had an improv show go off the rails in a good way?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some amazing scenes. I wouldn't say I'm an incredible improviser. I'm not a genius. That sucks. I wish I was. But I've had some amazing scenes. I've had really great moments, and I don't remember what they were, but I remember the feeling that I had, and I miss that. It was cool.
Going back into talking a little bit about when you were doing witchcraft at 11-year-olds being a
Yeah,
witch.
you want to talk about that?
To be
This is
honest,
an exclusive, I've never talked about it.
I'm a paranormal investigator myself.
Are you?
I have been since I was 19, I'm now 45.
Stop it.
I've helped out teens throughout Mass, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, and Colorado.
Oh my God.
So that stuff interests me. I've actually interviewed J. Michael Tatum, and he asked me questions about the paranormal from experiences that I've had. And I was curious, when you were 11 and delving into this world, did you ever experience anything paranormal?
No, I have no talent in this field. I tried, but nobody came to talk to me. I don't think they like me. I'm too alive. Is that a thing? No?
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know.
There's too much about the paranormal world that is still unknown. Why
Why they pick a
why they pick certain people, why they pick certain areas, things of that nature.
They don't
And it's
care.
weird to be talking paranormal at an anime con, but like my radar went up. I'm like, I'm a ghost hunter. I
That's
laughed at the
awesome.
TV shows because
Yeah.
anytime I saw a script writer, I didn't believe half the stuff that was shown.
Oh.
And having been on many private investigations, private homes,
Yeah.
public locations, things of that nature, I know that there are times when I've sat at a location for 6 hours in the dark
Yeah,
and gotten absolutely no evidence.
interesting.
But I've also gone to places like Rolling Hill that you saw on Ghost Hunters, Adventurers did a live Halloween special from there. And I've been locked in there twice overnight and both times had really amazing experiences.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we gotta talk about all that. That's interesting. The only thing I can say is like, have you ever seen Lost?
I have not.
The show Lost makes me think of my time in Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii twice this year. I've never been there before. And both times I got extraordinarily lucky there. I pulled a base set Charizard on my first trip, which is just like, I opened one pack, and in that one pack on a boat was a base set Charizard. And I have that card now. And then the second time I found out that I was nominated for a Webby, which again, like you heard my nominees, it's crazy that I'm in that field, like what? So.
That means you gotta go back to Hawaii more often.
I know. Hawaii's a lucky place. And as I was making that video, my farewell video to Pokemon, usually as an editor, it takes me a while to find the right music. It was the second piece of music I heard, and it was perfect. It literally lined up perfectly. And for that, I was like, my grandma's watching. She made that happen. Also, my cat Pikachu was probably born the day my grandma died. Tell me about that. So let's talk about that. What you got to say about that?
Pika Pika.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason, and
You know?
I'm convinced that the souls of the dead do watch over those.
They
things.
do watch. I think so too.
I lost my father to cancer at one point, and there are times when I know he's there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, let's all cry now.
Very long.
This is what panels with me are like. This is what happens. But yeah, I'm very sorry for your loss. It's hard. But yeah, I believe people live on in us. And, you know, even if they're out doing their own thing, which I hope they are, they come back and they're like, oh, she needs me right now.
Which means your grandmother will always be with you, and probably is
Yeah.
choosing little details for you.
Yeah,
And you
maybe.
just don't know it yet.
Yeah, maybe I'll always find the right music. Every time a 25-year-old show goes off the air, I'll have the right music. Yeah. So, any other? Yes, please.
Okay. So, I get to talk to various voice actors. I don't often get to talk to editors. So if you have any editing stories that you'd like to share with us, that'd be great.
Well, I worked for MSNBC for almost a year, and I couldn't get out of bed the next year. It was very taxing. Editors see a lot. We see everything you guys don't see. We have to edit it down to tell a cohesive story. So especially people who work in news, give them a pound next time you see them. Give them a high five. Tell them you appreciate their work, because that is like, you see you see things. And you also see how the sausage, how like the new sausage is made. And you start realizing that like the stories you see on the news are the best version of the story that exists. What is truth? We could get into it. I mean, you know, you guys are journalists, right? It's really tough. It's really, really tough work. And it's hard, especially when there's like a group of people editing what you do and telling you like this is what it needs to be. It's hard. So, yeah. Films is fun. You start doing really difficult overnight work. You're doing like assistant editing work in the middle of the night in a cold place in way upstate New York on an indie film, and you're making $200 a night. And it's really high stakes because like the editor needs everything by morning, and everything needs to be done really perfectly and like to their liking. Like the editor will teach you like, this is how I like everything laid out, all the footage, I want all these lines all cut together this way. It's very precise. You have to be very, very type A to do it, and I'm not that type A. I just really loved editing, but I hated assistant editing because you have to be so type A about it. I like making a mess and then putting it together. This was all like, but that's how you start. So there's a way up, you know, to start editing. So yeah, once you pay your dues, it's really fun work. It's very, it's lonely. You work pretty much alone with the director, and you're in a dark room a lot, and that's why I don't do it so much anymore. I'm in a dark room a lot with voice acting too, and I don't like that. I want to be outside. I want to be on set. I want to be like working with a big group of people. I'm kind of extroverted. Like it's hard to just like be in one space in a little tiny box. It's hard for me. So yeah, it's weird where I've ended up. It's weird, but there's something to be said about making very distinct goals for yourself and not letting anything else get in the way, which is what I think I'm going to be doing now. Taking charge of my path a little bit more now that I have the opportunity. Did that answer?
That was actually great, thank you.
That's the editor life. Yeah, editors have good answers. we tell stories. Anyway, next.
So it definitely sounds like you have your hands full.
Yeah.
But one question that we always ask all of the folks that we're able to interview and meet with is if they have a side hustle or a side project. For example, our friend Caitlin Galt makes refrigerators that are in the shape of classic trunks, sort of like antique trunks that open
That's
up
cute.
for cases.
Who does this?
Caitlin Galt.
Really?
Yep.
That's fun.
And Susie Young has a very successful Twitch channel
Yes.
wherein she plays the video games
Yeah.
that she voices. That people will come in and she's got these great stories about how people don't even know that it's actually the voice of the character.
Yeah, I've talked to her recently about that actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a side hustle like that or a side project that you're working on?
Side hustle.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I've been thinking about starting one. I want to start streaming and turning it into a podcast and a YouTube channel. I have my own YouTube channel, but like I just post random stuff to it now. It's not cohesive. Where I invite actors to do cold reads, stuff they've never read before. So I like the idea is I would have an actor on, do a little interview, 5-10 minutes. What are you doing? What's next for you? And then I just slam them with like a really weird American written manga or something nobody wants to read. And be like, here, read that. And then I'll have like a rotating group of actors who fill in for the bit parts if there's anything else, you know, to cast in there. I do need time to do this.
Right.
So I can't promise that it'll be soon, because right now I'm traveling nonstop. And I really enjoy taking those few days in the middle of between conventions to see a place. So it's like convention, vacation. Oh God, I have to work. I go work, and then vacation, convention, and yeah. So I'll stream eventually. Side hustle, editing editing became a career. I've never had a side hustle. Anything I do becomes like part of the career. Yeah.
Well, soon TM is one of my mottos as well, so totally understandable.
Soon TM.
Soon TM. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was my grandma's. Yeah, she literally. It's in Russian. Nishas potom, not now, later.
Right.
And that was like her whole life.
Well, when you release that or start doing that, we'll be looking forward to it.
Thank you. Yeah, follow me on social media.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
If you do have questions, because we are a live podcast that broadcasts YouTube on Sunday nights.
Cool.
Not broadcasting tomorrow because I laughed when you said upstate northern New York because I live across the lake from Burlington, Vermont, and Plattsburgh, New York.
Cool.
So I'm way up there.
You know. You
So
know that
I know
cold.
I know
You
those
that
cold. Oh yeah, we're still
That is
down
a
with it.
biting, freezing cold. Oh yeah.
And if you ever have questions about, because we use StreamYard and I'm still learning some of it, we only jumped to the YouTube side of things August 2021.
Yeah.
The show we just turned 9 years old last Sunday. We celebrate our anniversary.
Hey,
So
congratulations.
thank you. And knowing that you're looking into doing YouTube podcasting, which is something we do, if you ever have any questions, I'll give you my card. Feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to help with
Thank you
any
so much.
any advice we can give.
And then once you get your project off the ground, if you want to come on our show and
Promote it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because we have brought on other podcasters, other content creators and stuff. We're not, we have anime in the title, but we want to incorporate the whole group.
Yeah, cool.
and
Right.
so much new media these days.
Yeah, there's so much you can do. I'm writing a film. I want to make a feature film. That was always my dream. So I'm making a feature film about a voice actor who loses her job after 20 years. It's familiar to me, so I'm going to do that. I had the idea for a while now, but now that it's actually happening, I'm like, oh, this is rich. We got to do it. She has a downfall. I'm not having a downfall. She'll have a downfall. But that's a film. That's not longevity necessarily. It's tough to make a film, and it's tough to build a career off of making a film. So I definitely want to do things in the new media space. I'm right in the middle between Gen X and Gen Z, millennial. I'm at the halfway point of that, and I'm so much more Gen Z than Gen X. It's ridiculous. I see these folks and I get it, and I want to be more of that than what it was. It's changing so much. I'm looking at you. It's changing. It's changing. You see it. Things
Nice
are really
question.
changing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You're now on Ash Ketchum's retirement tour.
Yeah.
Is there any place that you visited so far, or any place, thinking of the smaller cons, anything that off the beaten path that you're looking forward to?
Places that I have visited or places that I was?
Either one, whichever one you'd like to. Go ahead.
I really loved Greenville, South Carolina. That city is built around a waterfall, and it's really lovely. I liked Charlotte, North Carolina. I like the Carolinas. It's nice. Charlotte, North Carolina is the second biggest finance capital in America. Who knew? So it's really nice. All the restaurants are really good because they're feeding the money people. So that was actually quite nice. I couldn't live there because that's not my culture, but it's nice to visit. It's very nice there. Where else? I love San Francisco. I have when I first visited San Francisco, I didn't like it, and somehow I went there a second time and I really love it. Boston, I haven't been here since my friend was in college here. I visited her one time, and we just sat in the Commons. I was here for 2 days, and we hung out at her house mostly. But now I'm getting to see the city a little bit. Your Little Italy, your Chinatown, they're legit. In New York, that's my city, that's my place, that's where I'm from, born and raised, born and bred. They raised me in that city. I rode the subway as an 11-year-old, and I will say I prefer the Little Italy in Boston. It doesn't feel like it's worn out. It's worn out or something. I don't know. Maybe don't publish this. I'm going to get attacked. There's something to it here that feels very old world, and I feel like I'm in Italy when I'm there. There's much more. It's an older city, Boston. So I guess that's part of it. There's more charm. I had no idea. I'm just surprised by it. I'm going to look back on this video and be like, what have you done? No, I love New York. New York is my favorite city in the whole world. And I can't imagine ever really leaving it. I still have my place there, even though I'm not based there anymore. I moved to LA, and that's not my favorite place in the world, unfortunately. I'm from walkable, old world stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, I think those are the few that I really enjoyed. There's a place in Texas called Blue Hills Ranch that's like in the middle zone. And I went there for like 3 days, and they have giraffes and goats and free roaming cows. Everything is kind of free roaming. You can just walk alongside them all day. You just exist among all these animals. And otters, who are ridiculous, by the way. If you've ever met an otter, have you met an otter? They're nuts. They're slippery, slithery, and they don't care about you at all. They're like in their own little world. We sat in a pool with them. They had nothing to do with us whatsoever. So that place is really nice. If you want to go and stay and like be among animals and nature, that's really a lovely place. Yeah, it's fun to travel. I do recommend it. To see other people and other geography, topography, architecture, and realize that like New York's not the center of the universe. That's been fun.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.